The defending national champions are at home to begin 2024 with a new quarterback, a new coach, and much of a new team after 13 NFL draft selections. We got Steve Merrill on the line from wagertalk.com, of course, and we enjoy Steve's selections here on a regular basis at the Voice of College Football. His Under the Radar selection, it is exclusive for those Patreon and YouTube members here at the Voice of College Football. Get Steve's daily work at wagertalk.com. Michigan, a 3-touchdown favorite at home, Steve, against the Fresno State team that had a really respected head coach in Jeff Tedford stepped down just a couple months ago.
Yeah, you could say, well, that's a rallying call for him, but I think it's going to be more of a distraction than anything. And looking for reasons to play against Michigan. In fact, a lot of the sharp money has played their season win total under 9. I mean, the sharps are saying they're going to get 3 or 4 losses this season after going 28-1 the last 2 years combined. In fact, they've lost 3 total games the last 3 years combined while winning 40. They're 40-3 straight up, and the season win projection is 8.5 to 9 wins, which would be more losses this season. So this is another example, though, Mark, like we talked about this in some other games here on the channel, where public perception is maybe affecting the point spread, and you wouldn't think the point spread would be skewed against Michigan being the national champs and undefeated. But my database simulation and power ratings show that. In fact, my 10,000 game simulation has Michigan winning by 28 points on average. That's a full touchdown of line value as long as this remains minus 21 or less, which is the current line at the Wager Talk Live odds screen as we record this. So I do think the values with Michigan, they very well could be a play against team at some point this season, but I just don't think this is the spot. Fresno is a very one-dimensional offense. They're going to have an extremely difficult time running the ball in this game. Now, Michigan might be down a notch defensively this year, but down a notch from a team that allowed just 10 points a game last year and only 91 rushing yards is still a pretty good defense. Fresno is going to have to throw the ball. Maybe that gives them some backdoor cover, but the fact that this line is about 7 points too low is, I think that's already factored in. Michigan, if you're going to play it, is the way to lay it. And I do think the Wolverines are not a national title contender this year. But that's another motivating factor. You know, you talk about Tedford being out. Maybe that motivates Fresno. What about a first-year coach? Everyone telling them they can't do it again after being the national champs. I think there's a chip on the shoulder for Michigan, and I think Moore in his first game at home has plenty of incentive to win by margin, and we're getting some value on top of that. So I like Michigan minus 21.
Folks, keep in mind that while Steve and I get together and deliver the Michigan information and the angle on the Michigan game here on the Wolverines channel each and every week, go to the various team channels where Steve and I get together to review and preview all the big games in college football across the board. And of course, Steve's exclusive Under the Radar selection is yours as a YouTube member or on Patreon. Thanks for being here, Steve.
Thanks, Mark.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly Under the Radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.